great opportunity for you guys to really learn about what we do here at NetPicks, but more importantly, what we're offering with the Premier Trader University. And you're taking the time to attend this live. I know you're taking a little bit of time out of your busy day or night, depending upon where you're located, which I very much appreciate. So please take advantage of it and make sure that you're able to absorb what I'm going to present today, as well as I need to make sure that I answer anything that you're unsure of, uncertain about, anything you need to know about what we're talking about. This is such an important topic. I know that's why all of you are here. This is something where we're really trying to make a difference in your life going forward, and I think we really can do that. So I just want to make sure that I do everything possible to have you walk away with you knowing everything you need to know about this opportunity. So I still see a bunch of people arriving, but what I'm going to do here just to kind of start something off so we don't wait too long is we'll just do a few polling questions. So they'll pop up on the screen. Do me a favor and just click in and answer those. And again, it helps me personalize the presentation a little bit. We may as well do that, right? We're here live. We're, this is literally a global audience. I guarantee you we'll have people from everywhere. It's noon New York time, so it's a tough time for some of our more popular regions where we have a lot of users or a lot of students, which is Australia, New Zealand, Asia. So I realize that's probably going to be one of the lower percentages, but I'm hoping to see a little bit of representation from everywhere. And I can tell you so far in the university, it's about a 50-50 split between U.S. And all other locations. So it's really exciting for us to know that it's such an international endeavor now, active trading. It's really been amazing since I started this back in 1996, how all of that has really changed. I will share all the results with you too, because I'm hoping you're a little curious to see who's joining you, who's sitting next to you. Since we're doing this virtual, there are people to your right and left, but you just don't see them. And you can see that it's split between the U.S., Canada, Europe, Australasia, and all other locales. So if you're joining me live for this, I really appreciate it. If you're watching on replay, well, you don't get your interactive questions answered, but hopefully you'll get a lot of good information regardless. A few more quick questions, really easy. Are you currently trading live? Yes, no, no, but have in the past. So if you're a no, it means you've really never traded actively anyway. Yes, of course, you know what that means. And then maybe you were active at one point and you've gone inactive, probably due to results, I would imagine. Typically, a question I ask in here, which I won't today because I get the same answer every time, is how often are you profitable in your trading? And new people coming to us, the answer is always the same. It's 8 or 9% are profitable, 91 to 92% are not. So typically we have a lot of work to do, but that's great. That's just huge opportunity for us to help you turn that around. So I can see a lot of you are pretty active. As you can see here, about 60% of you are in the markets trading. Great. About a quarter of you have done it. I'm going to guess a lot of you just didn't have enough success to stick with it, and about 15% more on the beginner side of the equation. So appreciate that answer. It's helpful to know that. If you're trading, so if you're not trading at all, you answered no to the last question, don't answer this one. You can click more than one here as well. What do you like to trade? What are you into right now? What are you trading? Maybe what do you want to trade going forward? Obviously no discrimination here between Forex, futures, stock, and options. We like them all. They all have their place, but there are some advantages and disadvantages depending upon the style of trading you want to choose. I mean, this is something that we've learned over the years, and it can be a huge difference maker. Okay, so you can see hopefully popping up on the screen pretty quick. A lot of Forex, but pretty close with futures. Then a pretty strong stock and options contingency. So while it's not equal, this is a pretty even distribution from what we see a lot. So I'm actually excited to see that. So, and we can talk definitely in the Q&A if you've guys got questions about, let's say you're a Forex person and you want to know, hey, is that really my best bet if I'm a day trader, or I'm a day trader, should I be doing futures, should I be doing options? We can definitely have that conversation as well. 2 more quick questions. This one's easy, right? Yes, not a yes, no, but primarily are you a day trader or a swing trader? So really simple, I feel, just to determine between the two. I know a lot of you are doing both. So I used to ask both, and I would get lots of representation, but I'm curious to see how do you, primarily term yourself, Over the years, again, this has been a huge shift. I started NetPicks in '96. As you would imagine, the late 90s, everybody was a day trader, right? My cleaning lady was a day trader. Over the years, this has switched, and now I'm seeing a lot more swing trading. 45%, I'm telling you, there was a time when I'd ask this question and be like 90% day trading, 10% swing trading. I didn't ask about position trading because this is not what we do here. I don't believe in position trading. I don't believe in long-term buy and hold. It hasn't worked pretty much in my trading lifetime, except for a brief moment in time, so we don't really talk much about that. Last question, have you attended a previous PTU webinar? We held a really great educational webinar recently. Maybe you even attended this similar presentation, watched the long videos on the overall system, just trying to see how much you know at this point. So it seems like as these come in, a decent amount of you have done some of that, and then I've got some obviously newer people here as well. So let's share that. It's about 2/3, 1/3. So good to know. It just helps me a little bit. All right, so let's go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and hide this and kick this off. Get started today. So you should see this screen. You should see my presentation. What we're going to cover today, a lot has changed in the last year or two. This cycle has continued. I expect a lot to change in the next year or two. So this is going to be something that we're going to see be a constant cycle, I think, overall. There is really a problem in the industry that I'm in, which is probably a little odd to say because it's the business that I'm in, but we're going to talk about that as well because clearly there are some issues that I want to address with you today. Really what we're going to do to fix the problems, I mean, it's one thing to identify the problems, it's a whole other thing to come up with solutions. The solution we feel we're going to present that's definitely working, because now we've had 2 full classes already, is the Premier Trader University. So we're going to give you all the details on that. For hanging with me to the end, we've got a pretty amazing bonus for when you enroll. So if you're here live, that's kind of the perfect opportunity to take advantage. Obviously, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the performance guarantee we have out there and a Q&A session where you can ask us anything. So we've got a jam-packed session. I talk fast. I promise I'll go through this very quickly. And even one final thing, just like a university, we have the opportunity for a scholarship. Everybody loves a scholarship, right? In case you went to university, college, whatever, it's great to have it paid for or paid for partially. So we'll talk about that as well. I think a lot of you know who we are. 2/3, 1/3 have attended, a webinar, etc. This is the team that supports the Premier Trader University here at NetPicks. We're all traders. I traded today, okay? So I can say that literally every single working day, except if I'm literally probably out of the country and just unable to trade for some reason. But other than that, across the board, we're all active traders. We do just what you do. We know what it takes to succeed. We absolutely know what happens when people fail, because all of us have had our moments in time where we weren't successful either. So I don't think you can learn from people who aren't doing it and doing it in the markets. You just can't learn from a professor of trading, let's put it that way. So we've been offering strategies since '96. We're going to be heading to our 18th year. We're a proven entity. We've been here forever. We've been through the biggest bulls, the biggest bear markets, the most boring markets imaginable in between. Anything you can think of, we've had to work through and trade through. And that experience is really what we bring to the table when we develop a product or when we develop PTU, the Premier Trader University. And obviously you got some stats here, how far back this goes. Now, there was a time where day trading was amazing, right? It was just, like I said, the late 90s. Everybody was a day trader. I mean, everybody I knew was a day trader. Everybody I worked with was a day trader. And I got into this NetPicks business, and I'm going to be honest, some people didn't understand why, because they just were like, well, why do people need your service or your training? Because it's so easy. You just buy, and it explodes the next day. And if it doesn't, you just hold for one more day. That was the system. Well, everybody that I knew who did that personally, they all crashed. They all lost 90 to 100% of not just their profits, but their equity. And this is family, this is friends. Nobody really at that time would listen to me. Very few people did, because they just didn't understand why you would need a systematic approach to the markets, because honestly, in the late 90s, I made a little less than the bubble people. I mean, it was just the nature of it, because I was methodical. I would get out. I would have profit targets. Well, the best trading was no profit targets. It never works long term. It worked for a small moment in time. It hasn't worked since. It hasn't worked in 12 years, okay? So this is something to kind of be aware of. Everybody was profitable. The whole story. It was really easy. It sucked everybody in. Brokers were getting rich. Individuals were getting rich. It was a fun time, but it changed forever. And while I do believe bubbles will be back and crashes, there's always this cycle. It never changes. They don't happen long enough or sustained enough for you to be successful long term. We obviously had a lot of bad things happen around the world. You don't need me here today to tell you that. You can be on any side of the issue. I don't care where you are politically. I don't care where you're located. You know, all of us have been impacted by it one way or the other. So there's just no question it's been a problem. Layoffs, everything, buying habits. I mean, I saw a stat yesterday. It seems a stupid stat in a way, but the number of pets people own here in the U.S. are down several million for dogs and millions more for cats. And you're like, okay, why is that? Because every other stat for the last 50 years has been every single year it's grown. Well, it's obvious. Every industry has been impacted. People can't afford it. You know, that's one of the things that maybe, you know, it's a luxury. So without question, you know, this is an issue. It's a problem. I can't tell you when it's going to end. I don't know. I have guesses. You know, I look at things just like you guys too. But you know what? It doesn't really matter to me when it comes to my trading. Yeah, it matters to me when it comes to if my home value is going up, right? Of course. But, you know, or if I can get another dog or whatever. But it doesn't really matter when it comes to trading. In fact, we thrive in times like this because it doesn't matter if markets going up or markets are going down. We're just active with the moves overall. Now, unfortunately, what's happened over the last few years, again, like I said, I've been in here for 17 years doing this business. Somewhere along the way, the business opportunity, get-rich-quick purveyors of the world decided they were going to move into trading. They probably saw the cool stuff happening in the late 90s, early 2000s, and it became kind of easy money. So they've been obviously focusing on selling all you guys hard, and it's hard for me because we compete against that part of the industry. And as much as we want to be balanced and talk about winners and losers and be realistic, you know, we're up against it. You know, we're up against the Lex Luthors of the world, telling you a much rosier story than I could ever tell you, even rosier than I can tell you today. As excited as I am about PTU, I'll never live up to the standards of some of the things that stuff your email inbox. But the good news is what I've seen, and this wasn't the case about 2 years ago, it was really tough for us. Over the last couple of years, a lot of people have tried all the get-rich-quicks, plugged in all the robots, and they have failed miserably. In a way, that's good news for us because now people are coming back and realizing, you know what? This trading business is for real. I get that. I did learn that, but I really need to know how to trade. And that's what this is all about. This is all about not just a system, not just results, but you really have to learn how to trade effectively. There is an education. There is an art. It has to be taught. You can't just give somebody a system and indicators and expect that they will trade it profitably. I've almost never seen it happen. It's rare on occasion, and it's typically very short-lived. So obviously what I would say is you're clearly ready for a change, and that's an interesting word there, but clearly I think that's something that you're ready for. So how are we going to fix it with PTU? The whole design of PTU for us is we spent 16 to 17 years providing systems, indicators, some videos, and said, here you go, here's the system. We also did a lot of advisory services like black box, here's a signal, buy the Russell E-mini, buy the Euro USD, you know, buy the S&P mini. You didn't really know why. You kind of followed us blindly. We realized along the way that that's not a way to go. Nobody has a long-term skill when you do that, and you're completely relying upon us. And it's always been a big fear of people. I don't want to rely on you because if I devote all this time and effort to this, what if you go away? What if you decide you want to stop doing it? The other thing we noticed is we put out great systems and people were screwing them up. And I say that with love. I mean, honestly, I mean, I would too. We were not offering enough training to show you how to properly and effectively use the system. So we would have 10 people learn the system and some people would succeed wildly and then other people would do okay and other people would really actually fail. And we'd ask ourselves, well, wait a minute, why is that? Why are people using the same tools and getting completely different results? And the key was they didn't have the education to use the strategies properly. The other thing we noticed is some of the people who did well ended up kind of in a way having no life. You know, it's all they did. They obsessed over it. They traded morning, noon, and night, and we're like, you know what, that's not good either. Nobody can sustain that long term. So we had to find this balance, which we call being a lifestyle trader. I want, in 90 days from now, when I ask you what you do, I want you to say, I am a lifestyle trader. Not a day trader, not a swing trader, not an active trader, not an investor, a lifestyle trader, because I never want you to forget that piece that you have to have balance between trading and your lifestyle. You also need to know, what are you in this for? Second income, full-time income, build up the nest egg, learn an amazing skill that you can use for life, combination of all these. You know, it's important to understand, you know, what you're in this for. That's going to feed into the whole concept of being a lifestyle trader. So how does the university work? Just like a university works. That's what's cool about this. I know you guys can kind of visualize how this is going to work. We do step one, which we call prerequisites. Everybody who goes into a college or a university has to be on the same page to some point. I mean, I realize I've got people in here who probably have traded for a decade or more, and I probably have people who've just been trading for 6 months to a couple of years, and I know I have new people. The whole idea behind the prerequisites is to make sure you're all on the same page before we move into the undergraduate portion of the education, which I'll give you detail of what we do in each step. And then we move on to the major portion. Just so you know, unlike a university, this is not a 4-year plan. This is not a 6-year plan. You're not going to spend 12 years. We can go through this entire process in 30 days or less, which is what is really exciting about the whole process. So step one, what is the prereqs all about? It's really cool because it's done home study. You start immediately. You can start tonight if you wanted to. You don't have to, of course. You have plenty of time. But it's self-paced. It also means you can go through the parts of the course that you need help with, and you can skip the parts that you don't, or go through them quickly. This way, everybody's on the same page. I've done 2 undergraduate classes already. This has been amazing for us because in the past when we've done some training and we haven't had a prereq, we've had people come in with a lot of questions. It slowed us down. We couldn't get to what we're trying to get to. The last 2 classes, which we've had lots of people, dozens and dozens of people in each class, it's been really easy to go right into the heart of the content. We'll talk about styles of trading, picking the best brokers, best platforms, reading a chart, strength and weaknesses there, all the software and hardware requirements, technical analysis. If you went on Amazon right now and looked up technical analysis, you'd see 500 books you could buy, right? You could be reading until, century, basically. Fill it all down in the prereqs to the only ones that we've seen matter. The only things that matter in trading to get you results. 99% of technical analysis is interesting, but it doesn't actually get profitable results. We're going to talk a lot about risk, a lot about money management, a lot about trade psychology. These are really core elements. They are make or break for people. So many people have a good system and blow it because the risk and money management is very poor. Or they have a very effective system and they're their own worst enemy. You get out too soon, you panic out, the trade is in the red a little bit, you freak out, you reverse. All those things are just self-sabotage, but we've all done it. I have done it so many times. I would hate to even admit how many times. It's something you really have to learn. So we definitely train on that. And then, of course, all about approaching this like a real business. That's the other mistake people make. They approach it like it's a casino. It's like going to Vegas. It's like betting on a game. It's not that. It's very much a business, just like buying a business, a franchise, being a CPA, a doctor, whatever. All of those you have to approach on the business side of things, and you'll do that here. Now, the undergraduate's awesome. Like I said, we've already done this twice. It's a 2-day live in the market online training. You do it right from where you are right now, home or office, very comfortable. You attend as much of it as you can. If you can't attend it all, we record all of it for you. If you can't attend any of it live, it's no big deal. It's all there. We publish it immediately after we finish. But we encourage you to attend live if you can. You're going to learn and master all the strategies. We have 4 amazing PTU strategies. We'll talk about that in a moment. We have 4 because, different markets respond and act a different way. So we wanted to make sure that we arm you with what you need, whether you want to trade Forex or you want to be an options trader or you want to trade futures. Obviously, we'll go very in-depth on all the strategies. We'll talk about trade management. We're going to teach you what we call art of trading. 90% of what we do is mechanical. 10% has to be taught, and that 10% is typically the difference maker. It blows people away how much better they do once they get that part down. Choosing the best markets, understanding your risk, developing your trade plan, obviously lots of practice, determining which direction you should go, day trading or swing trading or a combination of both. So all of this is what we deal with in the undergraduate. You will leave the undergraduate knowing the PTU strategies because they are not difficult, as I'm going to show you here in a few moments. But it's not just the system and, oh, here's how the indicators look. It's everything else behind it. We spend a long time in the training making sure that you know about the nuances of trading. I've learned these things over literally almost 18 years of teaching, and I don't even want to admit how long I've been actually trading. And it's the same goes for my staff and the team here. We all have tons of experience, and this is what we've really packed into this training. I don't know another trading school that is made up of real in-the-market traders the way that NetPicks and the PTU is. Once you go through the undergrad, you'll then pick a major, because I believe you need to specialize, at least initially. you should choose futures, Forex, or stock and options. So stocks is stock and options together. And you can definitely, over time, choose additional majors and add those on. But we always say focus on one to begin with because we get to be very intensive. And we'll go, it's just a one day, specifically to Forex or specifically to futures, and it comes just after the undergraduate. It's really awesome. We can focus just on the group that wants to focus on these categories. We go over some of the beginner stuff, but then we go really advanced as well. You walk away with the major with the best trade plans that we have for specific markets. I mean, we're talking a plan. If you're a Forex person, you're going to get a specific plan to day trade the Euro US dollar, another plan to swing trade the Euro Yen, a different plan to swing trade the Euro Aussie, and so on. If you're a futures trader, you'll have a specific way to trade the S&P E-mini, the Russell E-mini, crude oil futures, DAX futures. Markets behave a lot the same, but they don't behave identically. If you've been trading for a while, you know that to some degree, but it's really challenging to figure out, well, what do I change as I move market to market? We have figured out that all out for you. I mean, we have cracked the code on what's different between the Euro US, the Russell E-mini, silver futures, and crude oil. They're different. They chart price, but they don't all behave the same way. It's amazing what you'll get in the majors down to the specifics of how and when to trade that exact market. Nothing at all ever left to chance. Obviously, here's just a selection of the futures markets that we have trade plans on, just some of the ones that we focus on in Forex. And then in stocks, I'll show you some of the stocks in a bit here that we focus on, which is also very exciting overall. So we have great coverage, more than enough plans than you're ever going to want to or need to trade. But the whole idea there is, depending upon where you are in the world, the time of day or night you want to have choices. You also want to have plans that will grow as your account grows. You may start with a smallish account, but eventually it's going to be a hell of a lot bigger. You want to have markets that can grow into, that you can grow into, that will take advantage of your equity growing. You know, you don't want to hit a cap when it comes to trading. So just to kind of talk really briefly before I go to some charts, the Active Trader systems tested live in the market. I actually had traded a mid six-figure account to develop these systems. I'm a big believer that you can't just develop systems hypothetically. You have to get into the markets and get your hands dirty and trade them. And I can't tell you how many tweaks, modifications, and changes I made over the year based upon those experiences. You don't have to go through that whole process. And trust me, in the beginning, it's very painful financially. That's what we do for you. That's our job. Our job is to take it on the chin and tweak everything and make sure that the systems are fully developed and working just like we need them to work. So this wasn't just something done on a chart. This wasn't just hypothetical. I mean, this is live in the market. And like I said today, I traded PTU live in the markets today on literally 4 different markets, 5 different markets actually, now that I think about it, today. So I'm in there every single day with the system, making sure everything is working the way that it needs to. I will be the first to know if something needs to be tweaked, twisted, adjusted, whatever. So that's something that's great, and I always share that with the university students. We've had lots of great feedback coming in over the first few. This is from an options trader, obviously did really well in a recent options call. I think the key thing here that I'd love to read is, he's just getting started with the real money, but he wouldn't have had a clue about how to trade this type of option swing trade before he started PTU. And I'm going to show you some more testimonials in a moment from people saying literally the same thing. That's exciting for us because that plays into what I'm trying to tell you about, which is the educational side. So let's go to some charts. Let's talk about some futures. Let's talk about some Forex. I want to show you some stock and really give you guys an opportunity to see everything. So give me one moment here and I'll switch over to charts. So if it hasn't populated yet on your screen, you should see my platform here. And this is, I'll start with Forex, then I'll do some futures, and then I'll move into, I'll show you some stock and options and some of the stocks that we trade actively. Okay, so this is the Euro Yen. I'm just showing you some of the trades here that we've had recently. I'm going to actually tell you a little bit about the system here, which is kind of fun because we can kind of, I'm going to show you that learning the system will be one of the easiest challenges you have. When we've taught the systems in the undergraduate education, we've done it in like an hour or 2. And it's not like we get overwhelmed with a million questions. That's the beauty of this. It's so structured. It's so visual on the screen. it's so crystal clear that we can actually spend a lot of our time talking about everything else that's important. So I'm hoping you see my arrow move. I want to point you down to the NetPicks sentiment indicator. The key on this strategy is when the sentiment goes from red to green. So if you see right down here, when it went from red to green, one thing you should see on the chart is all of a sudden it plotted what we consider a buy entry. That's the little plus mark. That's your buy entry. You see these big red dots that had to do with the prior trade? Set of dots number 1 is target 1. Set of dots number 2 is target 2. We're going for target 2. Target 1 tells us to start to move the stop. So when we got long here, sorry, at this little plus, you see our stop was originally down here. Immediately as the trade progressed, it went to here to break even, and not that long later, it actually locked in some profits. Very quickly, was this a huge move in our favor? Nope. Did we actually make money? Yep, 28 pips on that trade. We came back later with a short setup, same thing. Look what happened down here. We went from green to red. That went ahead and set up the entry. Now we don't immediately mark it in. We need further confirmation, which we got, which was right here. Price had to hit that entry point, and we went to target 1, which clearly started to move our stop down. And then as we were kind of getting into some chop, look what happened to the stop. It locked in profits at that point. We had not just a free trade, but a profitable trade, but the stop was perfect because it let us go through some chop and noise, and then the market waved down. Markets do not go straight up. They do not go straight down. I wish they did. They're noisy. They're ugly. They're up and down, and you have to have structure. On the screen here, you see nothing but structure. You always have stops, trailing stops, and targets. Yes, some markets will race beyond the targets, right? And we have some things that we show you on trailing, but you don't need to trail at all. It's a lot of subjectivity when you trail. The way that we've done our targets is they are definitely tweaked for these markets, and they capture the big parts of the move. I mean, how good was this target here? Pretty darn good. Did this one go a little further? Yes, but I'm not, right? I mean, the reality of trading is we can't be perfect, in knowing how far market's going to go. Really, nobody is. And then just to the right here, you see we just had a break-even trade. We got in here, not originally here, and that's all part of the trade plan. We don't trade this early, but we got in sync, and we ended up exiting at the break-even on that trade. So really clear, really straightforward structure. You can see it right on the chart, kind of scrolling over here a little bit just to go to real time. And there's a potential new short setup here, and 96.38 hasn't triggered as of yet. So the only thing you would need to know is whether or not this is what we call a trade zone, which is actually not. We're actually done for the day on this market. So that's the euro-yen. These go for bigger targets, 91 pips, as you can see. Now, if you want to go for more active trading on the euro-yen, here's an example, and also less risk of the trade we had this morning on the euro-yen. Again, the chart looks really, really similar. Notice when the sentiment indicator went from red to green, it immediately set up for us. What happened? We had an entry, a target 1, and a target 2. 29 quick pips on this trade, and we're actually done at that point. So we have something that we teach you called power of quitting. I won't go into a lot of detail on it, but one of the beauties about power of quitting is the fact that we can finish and move on and not have to take additional trades. I did want to show you something to just give you an idea. We teach you a lot about taking the mechanical setups and adding that extra 10%. But just to kind of show you how effective this can be, literally just 100% mechanical, which I would never trade. I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of what we're looking at equity curve-wise. And this is common for a market, a little chop up and down, takes off, small drawdown, takes off, small drawdown, takes off. So this is not unusual at all for us to see. And this has no benefit of anything that we do on the educational side. This is just strictly saying, I'm just going to look at this mechanical kind of dumbly. We don't approach our trading dumbly, right? So, but it just shows you how effective it can be even in that situation. Now, these are more day trading type approaches. I know some of you may be more interested in swing trading. So swing trading on a 4-hour chart is definitely a way that we would go. Let me actually go over to Euro Aussie because I think I marked that one up for you guys here. Yeah, so here's the Euro Aussie on a 4-hour chart. So these trades tend to take 1 to 3 days typically. This has been since the beginning of July, so just this month basically, and a couple days so far here. And you can see the same exact methodology. The only difference is down below, because the trend has been so down, the sentiment has stayed red. Well, we don't just have to have a crossover. we have something we call a reentry trade. So when the trade pulls back and the trend is down, we'll reenter. It pulls back, we'll reenter. The same with on the way up. You want that because sometimes, not a lot of times during the year, but every market will go through a big trending stretch. We want to take advantage of that. Most of the time, markets are going to swing up and down, which we're perfectly happy with because then our sentiment is going to oscillate from red to green. But we just kept picking off pips, 125, 37, 24, 27, 106. Finally had a losing trade here, 66, 10, right? Because you can see the stop, it entered, and the stop tightened pretty quickly, but pretty smart, right? Because look what would have happened. It would have stopped out in full. So even though it only got 10 pips, no big deal. This is the live trade we're in right now. It's actually up more than 55 because I updated that about an hour ago. Since that time, it's dropped by another, looks like 20 or 30 pips, heading for target 2. Look where my stop is, where my arrow is. We entered here, so I'm in a profit no matter what on this trade. And this is nice, slow plotting, swing trading on a 4-hour chart, which is cool. And even if I looked at it strictly mechanical, same little story as before, just to kind of give you an idea, without the benefit of everything else we teach you, we still get that pretty darn good consistency, right? Steady up on the equity curve. Is it ever straight up? No. No equity curve of mine has ever gone diagonally straight up. But I love the stair step. That's exactly what I'm looking for. If I can get an equity curve that stair steps up, that I always know what I'm doing, if it just goes up a little down, up a little down, up a little down, maybe a little down there, up, sometimes small wiggles, this is what you're looking for, right? That's going to keep you in the game because you're going to constantly have equity highs. You also want to make sure that anytime you have a swing down, they're never nearly as big as the swing ups. That's important psychologically, which we'll talk about quite a bit overall. So really cool how that works. Euro US, I know, is a popular market. We have a couple different things. We have a very active day trade, and we have a little slower day trade, which is what you're seeing here. This is just over the last couple days. We had a nice trade here to pick up the 74 pips. We had one here that was a break even, another one here that was a break even, and we just exited today a 16 pip. We got out with our money management. It looks like maybe we got out a little too soon because it's starting to head back lower, but we had the potential to re-enter the trade as well. And like any time we do money management, we can't be perfect with it. We don't always know in real time when we get out if that's going to be the perfect decision, but the odds are in my favor that most of the time we're making a good decision on the trade. And this is pretty active, but not crazy like scalping. You can't scalp in Forex because of the pip spreads. When you can go for some bigger targets, you can afford to pay some of the spread and deal with that. So you have a nice combination between day and swing trading. So for Forex, I mean, you're loaded with opportunities. I would actually push a lot of people towards the little slower day trading into the swing trading. Not as much maybe the really active day trading because of the way that the market moves, but we can always obviously talk about that at different times. Let's go ahead and switch over for the futures crowd. That's actually a stock, and we'll go back to that in a moment. But I wanted to start with the Russell E-mini, and this one being really ideal for what I consider a smaller account. We have two different plans for the Russell E-mini. One goes for bigger targets, and one, it's day trading, and one goes for smaller targets, but also it means smaller risk. So yesterday we had this setup. Again, total structure. We start after 10 o'clock. On my chart, I know it's after 9 because I'm in the Central Standard, but we start always after 10 o'clock New York time on a day trade. You can trade in the afternoon as well, but we prefer the morning, and we get a nice structure, meaning right away I get a setup, I get an exact entry, which we have right here, 798.80. I'm going for 840. That's my target on this trade, and I've got my initial stop down here. Look what happens in the trade. We go long right here in 10:04 New York. I hit my target 1. I don't take any money there, but I immediately move my stop to break even. So now I'm in worst case situation, I'm going to break even. And look what happens in the market. Just like markets love to do, they get noisy. If you don't have structure, and you guys know this, a lot of you have been trading, you start to not know what to do. If you didn't have this structure, you might panic. You might think, oh my God, it's over. It's heading back down. I got to get out. I'm going to get one tick. And you end up with one tick. Not us. We stayed in the market. We knew we had a break even, and we got the full target on this trade. Now, is it a huge profit, on each one of these? No, it's not a huge profit, but I pick up $160 per contract. You can trade multiple contracts. I only risked about the same amount of dollars, and this literally happened in 6 minutes. right? Now, yes, I see there's another potential trade here that went to break even. This is a no trade because of the sentiment is not red, and we'll teach you that. You can see there were no targets plotted, so even though you see it on the chart, it just tells us avoid it, which probably was smart, but it did okay. And then flip back around with another winner. But remember when I told you power of quitting won? I'm done in 6 minutes. I don't care what happens after this, good or bad. We don't have to worry about it. So that was yesterday. Looking at today, I wanted to show you a little bit here. So we had a first trade out of the box, same general time, about 10:12. We went long. It hit target 1, and this time I just missed my target 2, and what happened? I went out of break even. Okay, no big deal. No trade on the short, because what are you missing here? Do you see targets? Do you see stops? No. The reason why? Look where sentiment was when it set up. It was green. That filters out that trade. That's part of the way the strategy works. We come back a little bit later with a buy. I get in at 799.40, and we hit full target. Same kind of thing. You know, look at it. Gets close to target, swings down. If you don't have this structure and you don't know what you're doing, these are really designed. These markets lately are designed to shake you out. They are preying upon the weak. I mean, I see it over and over. It's so few times that we're getting quick runners. They happen, but most of the time it looks like this. Most of the time it's going to be a little shaky on the way. And that's what I love about having an effective strategy like this. Crude oil futures, another great opportunity. Again, we have two approaches. We have what would be perfect for a smaller account, which is what you see on the screen. And this goes for about $260 a contract. And then we have a second day trading system that goes for right now in today's market, $540 per contract. And that changes as the market dynamics change, which is also really cool about what we do. But here was, I think, yesterday. Again, you know, start time, 9 o'clock New York time on this market. I had an exact entry, 93.58, and I go for target 2 at 84. Same thing, right? For a while, I'm doing good. I'm actually losing money at one point here, right? Back to even, back down, target 1, target 2. Without structure like this, without knowing exactly what you're doing, it's impossible to make money in the markets. It's too hard to predict what's coming next. You know, another good trade after that, another good one after that. We didn't take any of those. And that's part of what we teach you. This morning, same start time, worked out great, but look how noisy it was, right? It was kind of ugly. I had multiple different potential places I was going to go short. I did have to cancel replace a couple times. Ultimately, it steadied up. Ultimately, I had the entry at 74 and on down to target. Not the prettiest looking chart. All this in here is all the pre-opening. We don't trade during that time at all. So it doesn't matter whether it works or whether it doesn't. We're waiting for the pit to open, and then we're off to the races. Whatever happens after, it's a non-factor to me. I didn't have to spend any time going through this. Yeah, I realize I see a short trade here that didn't work. I see a long reversal that worked great. Wonderful. But it's a non-factor because it's not a time that I'm going to be trading. You know, in this case, this short went to break even. This long never triggered, and a new short just hit target a bit ago. But again, we've sort of built the trade plans to know that, you know what, starting at 9 is a lot better than starting here. That's everything that you get with the methodologies. Now, as your account grows, you may work into a market like the DAX futures. Amazing market, not for everybody. You need a bigger account. But over the last couple days, you know, just what I'm seeing, $984 per contract yesterday, or more of the European hours, $984 this morning. U.S. hours today, same thing. Did it go straight to target? No. Was it like a straight line up? No. Was it perfect? No. But with the structure there, I mean, imagine if you didn't have that structure. Imagine if you were looking at the chart and trying to, you know, figure this out. If I was to take off, you know, the structure, it's pretty hard to know. I mean, where to go, where to get in, where to get out. That's the whole idea behind, you know, having this, but not just having indicators, actually understanding what's going on, understanding why we trade in certain hours and other hours we don't, why we adjust entries sometimes, why we move targets sometimes. All of this, very, very critical. And the story remains the same here. I mean, really, even strictly mechanical, you'll be blown away by the results on this one. It's ridiculous. This is one of the strongest markets, the DAX futures. Perfect? No. Losers? Yes. Some drawdowns? Yes. But over a pretty short amount of time, since mid-May, $25,000 in profits, one contract. You know, yeah, you got to figure in some commissions, a little bit of slippage, but this is also straight, you know, mechanical, so it doesn't get the benefit of anything you learn in what we do. You know, how did we not take this short early? Probably want to know how we did that. So that's all part of what you end up learning with what we do. So there's so many great opportunities. Again, I can't go over everything in here. I wish I could. Russell E-mini, S&P E-mini. There's a number of different markets. Everything works the same way, all that structure. I do want to show you here real quick, give you an idea. Well, let me show you, actually, I think I actually can quickly show you a visual of stocks. And you're going to see, in this case, it's Apple Computer. And we had a short here on a swing trade. These are amazing for options traders, right? So in this case, this one about 20 bucks and hit target. Actually stayed in, almost had a reversal, but talk about perfect. Whew, cross my fingers, thank God. And then went all the way down to full target. No trade here. We teach you why you have no trade, why you would have adjusted your entry down and filtered out a losing trade. It doesn't always work, what we teach in those regards, but it's really cool when it does. And it comes back and gives us a full target, another, in this case, almost $20 move. Imagine what you did on your options trade in 2 days. We sometimes get 100 to 300% returns on our contracts. And right now, we're in a long trade that's a free trade at this point. It's already at break even, and I'm trying to get this Apple stock, fingers crossed, to run to our second target. Let me show you some more of the stocks and ETFs that we trade for those of you interested in that. Okay, so hopefully you see it on the screen. This is what we call our Owners Club for the Premier Trader University. This is where we post everything. We've got videos, walkthroughs, settings, trade plans, live in the market training. It's awesome. These are the stocks we're mostly focusing on right now. Just Apple, Amazon, Google, some ETFs, the VIX, the SPYs, Priceline, JP Morgan, energy ETFs. And win-loss did amazing. Some of them are incredible. All of them go for more on the target. It's been just steady all year. Apple's been amazing for years, really. We don't change this list very often, but there are a lot of other stocks and ETFs you can go with. We just try to help you focus in on some to get you going. That's a lot of what we're obviously trying to do here as well. So system demo, obviously I can answer more questions on it. Just some of the results we're getting since we started the undergraduate education in early June. One of the Euro US dollar plans, 708 pips. The crude oil futures plan on the bigger account, 7,700. The one that I showed you just before on the smaller accounts, if you have less equity, 5,500. S&P Mini, which I know is a popular market, steady 50 points since June 1, 2,500 bucks per contract, and talk about a market that can scale, to lots of contracts. Silver futures, not for everybody because it requires a bigger account, but like I told you, can you grow? Yeah, you can grow into it. 20,000. You see the swing trading on the Euro New Zealand, the Euro Aussie, the Euro US, all in slow 4-hour charts. The Euro Yen, this is a nice slow day trading plan, 1,200 pips, and the DAX future has been amazing. For those of you in Europe, Australia, in the European session or the US session, you can trade it here in the US. I trade it every day in the US session, love it. Just been piling it on. Not perfect, none of these are. This isn't like, 100% winners like you guys get in your email. There's winners, there's losers, but in the end, I come out on top, and that's clearly the key. Obviously, we've had lots of feedback. The key things that I love to see in this testimonial, structured. Everything's been filtered down. I've gotten my life back a couple of hours. That's what you see in bold. Those are the hot points for me. That's exactly what I want to hear as people move through the university. That's what I want you guys saying in 30 days. Paul saying same thing. First class product, best package you've ever offered. Frank saying very complete, very helpful, talking about the support, the team, the interactivity. So we've got lots of these. This is kind of the feedback we've been getting. So let's talk about how the classes will work. You need to enroll. You need to get started on this. I mean, this is an amazing opportunity. This is the third time we've offered it. I know some of you have been on the fence, on the fence, on the fence. You're about to head into fall and winter, one of the best times possible to trade. You need to be in the markets come September 1, in particular after Labor Day. I mean, it's been without fail typically some of the best time to trade right through into the winter with a small stop, literally. I mean, it goes right into December, right around Christmas and the New Year, slows down for a week or so, and then Q1 is amazing. So your timing is impeccable. We're holding the undergraduate class August 21st and the 22nd. Like I said, you attend live. If you can't, we immediately archive it, and you can start watching it that night. The major program starts soon thereafter. We want to make sure you guys have a little chance to get back into the markets, trading the program, and then we go into the specialization. So remember when I said 30 days or less? Here's your opportunity, 30 days or less. Let's get this going. Let's start. Now, some extras we put into this. We also offer, we offer a lot of extras. The Owners Club, 2 times a week live in the market, training. We also are going to give you one-on-one personal coaching, 2 hours that you'll work with the team. I would save this maybe 1 hour after the undergrad and save 1 hour for after the major to really make sure you guys get set up perfectly. I do these monthly calls, but you know what? You're going to hear from me almost every day. If you go into the Owners Club right now, I've recorded myself trading every single day in the last week. You've gotten to see me trading live, real money. We've went ahead and I've done walkthroughs, screenshots. The coaches have done the same. We've done live in the market trainings. I mean, there's so much that you get that's interactive, way beyond initially just getting the system and the initial training. And we have the best support in the business because our whole team supports the PTU and we actually trade. That's the secret. We actually trade. So we're actually able to understand your questions. They don't confuse us. We didn't outsource this. So you're going to get great support. Now, TradeStation's come along and said, hey, you know what? If people sign up, we'll give them 6 months of the platform for free, or we'll give them up to $500 in rebates. And we're like, thank you, TradeStation. That's nice, but we want you to do one better. These are perfect customers for you, TradeStation. Once they learn the PTU, they could be with you for life. So they came up with this full tuition reimbursement scholarship. They're going to rebate back to you. Just pay you as you go for trades you're already going to be taking 20% of those commissions until that entire tuition fee has gotten reimbursed directly to you. So just while you're trading and growing the account, all the while in the background, that tuition fee is getting chiseled down and chiseled down and chiseled down that you paid us initially. Why not? I mean, why not do that? I mean, what a great opportunity. Now, I realize not everybody can or wants to get on TradeStation. We work wonderfully with NinjaTrader, which I know is super popular. NinjaTrader is awesome. PTU works flawlessly on NinjaTrader as well as TradeStation. You can get both in different ways for free or a very discounted. TradeStation you definitely can get for free. You only have exchange fees, and even those are discounted. Ninja's got all kinds of different potential offerings, including data and whatnot. So, you know, never should platform be a problem, but we made sure that we were compatible with the 2 best platforms in the business for Forex, futures, and stock and options. In addition, I talked about the cool bonus. You enroll today, you'll get enrolled in Mastermind. Masterminds are awesome because we get to work in a very small group, really kind of get to hold your hands a little bit more. You get to work very closely with the team, but you also get the benefit of the other people in the group. You'd be amazed how much you can learn from other people just like yourself. They may be right down the street. They may literally be 10,000 miles away. So we put together this small mastermind. It has to be small. We only allow the first 10 people to enroll, who enroll here today, to go ahead and join this. And you cannot buy your way into this. People have come to us in class 1. Mark, I want to get in. We have to say no. Class number 2, Mark, I want to get in. I didn't, enroll right away. We say no. We definitely have to stick with that. So if you're ready, this is a huge advantage for you that you guys are going to have available to you. Closed group, like I said, take advantage of it. A lot of you are ready to roll. Why not grab the bonus? Now, pricing is important. I realize this is a big investment, potentially. I know your time investment, and this is finally a time you need to get it right. Some of you have gone through all this a few times. You spent a bunch of money, spent a lot of time. It hasn't worked for you, but you're still a believer because you can see how amazing trading can be as a business. It's the best business there is. No employees, scaling up, you just add contracts. You can't beat it. But unless you actually are trading effectively, right, you can't make any money. Trading universities that are out there are very expensive. They very much can be worth every nickel you spend, but it does come with a charge. What I saw about the average was about $10,000 when we looked at our 3 main competitors. And they're all, I think, good, actually, competitors. I didn't look at fly-by-nights, or whatever, sleazy companies, good quality companies. But that's the price point. So we decided to kind of lay out, what are we offering, and let's put what we think the value is. Not what we're going to charge you, but what we think the value is. The home study course, we felt about $700. The undergraduate program, $1,000 a day is the industry norm. So 2 days, $2,000. The major, which is 1 day specialized small group, we felt $1,297. The strategies are amazing. I've showed you. In fact, people saw me trade the last week. I think in my live trades, I made double. Well, I made about $10,000. I showed people just trading 2 contracts. So we put that value on it. I don't know. You could put a 1 in front of that if you wanted to, but we had to come up with something. The Owners Club, again, I think this way understates what it's worth, but again, we wanted to put a dollar amount on it. Live in the market trading room, group calls, Q&As, great support, the NetPicks TradeStation offer, and potentially all of it reimbursed with the scholarship, so that could be worth everything you've just seen. We added it up. We're like, okay, it's $16,000 in value. All right, I get why people are pricing at $10,000. They take 60% off. That's a great discount. It's great value. It makes sense to me. That's where the industry is. But we want to go one better and maybe way better than that. And I think we've definitely done that. So I want to get into pricing in a moment. The other thing I've noticed is the schools never do any kind of guarantee. You know, you spend a lot of money and you don't really know for sure that the systems work. So we are putting out there a guarantee that, and we have to, we have to centralize in a couple markets because, there's a lot of markets we can trade. But just combining the Russell and crude oil, we guarantee that over the 90 days, it'll at least double the tuition cost, or if you want, you can request a full refund if you just don't think it's going to work for you. Or if you're Forex, two of our hot plans in the Euro Yen and the Euro US, you'll see over 500 pips, or you can request a refund. Nobody in the business does this because I think they're nervous that it may not work over the near term. I know it's going to work. I'm not worried about it. So we put this up here. It's kind of crazy to do it, but I want you to feel comfortable that what you're getting is not just great training, not just great systems, but they actually are going to work starting when you start. So what is the tuition if you're brand new to NetPicks, you've never done one of our other systems? It's $39.97 all inclusive. If you own one of our day trading systems, I'll take $1,000 off of it, basically reimburse you for that invest and make it $29.97. Own one of our swing trading courses, I'll cut $500 off, which is the typical investment on those. So I'm basically almost rebating back a good part of that purchase, and you'll get it for $34.97. And understand this is all in. Systems, trainings, one major, performance guarantee, prereqs, undergrad, 4 different systems, all of the updates, all of the specific trade plans, all the access to the Owners Club, no monthly licenses, no annual licenses, no BS like you see out there, all in, all inclusive, one-time shot. If you need a payment plan, we wanted to set that up as well. So when you go to the enrollment page, if it's better for you, go ahead and take it. You do spend a little bit more money doing the payment plan. It's best to do it up front, but whatever. Whatever works for you. And I made sure we had that for both the $1,000 discount and the $500 discount options, meaning if you own one of our other courses and you get the family discount. So you've got the payment plan available to you as well, which is awesome. Again, we got this incredible performance guarantee. You have the ability to make back your tuition with the TradeStation offer. Even if you don't go that direction, you know the methodology is going to work. I've gone through one class in June, another class in July. It's just consistent. It's working. We've been doing this for 17 years. We know it works. We know what's going to make it. You already know where we stand on this. I think we blow everybody away. I know we do. I think these are good companies, but I mean, this is really, truly an incredible overall offer. So to get started, you need to just go to netpicks.com/enroll. You'll have all the choices there available to you. You want to be one of the first 10. You want to get signed up. We have a limited number of seats. Right now, we definitely have openings as of this live webinar, but it's going to shut down here at some point when the class is full because we actually teach it live, and we want to make sure the group is manageable and we can give you that that one-on small group support. But also, I want to answer your questions. So if there are questions that I haven't covered, if there's things you're still unsure of, hopefully you've been typing those in, or now is the opportunity to type those in. So let me go ahead and open up the Q&A, and I'm going to talk through these questions. And I know that Kevin's been helping me answer some of these in real time, which is awesome. So I appreciate that. All right. So difference between the trading platform as part of PTU and 7 Summits Trader. All right. So we kind of answered that. I see, Kevin. I think initially I'm going to go for ones I don't see an answer, and then I'll go back in case there's any that I need to clarify. Keith says, is this trade chart a D1, H4, H1? So I think, when I was showing you the system, D1 meaning a daily chart, H4 is 4 hour, H1 1 hour. It depends on the plan. We have 4-hour swing trading, but a lot of the plans that we use something called a range bar. In particular, if you're going to day trade, that's the best way to day trade, is to use range and momentum bars. We give you a formula so you know exactly why I use 23 pips in the Euro Yen, but then on the Euro US, I was using 21 pips. I mean, why? When I was using the Russell E-mini, I had one plan that used half a point and one plan that used 1.1. Again, those don't just get pulled out of the sky randomly. You're going to have a formula that's going to show you exactly where those come from. And as the market changes its dynamics, which it will, wait till we get out of August, ranges will go up, volatility is going to go up. We have elections coming up. I guarantee you it is definitely heading higher. You have to have a system that's going to change with the market conditions. Otherwise, your performance today is not going to hold up. 90 days from now. That's really key. Question from Yehuda, what is the line on the chart? We call that our signal line. So when we were on the chart itself, that also works a lot like the sentiment. Clearly, as you would imagine, when price is above the signal line, it's in a positive. When it's below, it's in a negative. However, that's not enough just to buy and sell. Too many people try to put indicators on their charts, stochastics, RSI, MACDs, and they just try to trust that, and you know what happens. You do really well when the markets are trending, but when the markets get noisy, you get destroyed. So just because we move above the signal line and my sentiment is green, still not enough to get into that market. I need further price confirmation. I need confirmation from time of day. I also need to have confirmation from where I get in and where the target is and where the stop is based upon how the market is trading right now. That's the difference. It is taking me years to come up with this type of approach and for it to be this effective across this many markets. Larry says your PTU results from TradeStation Strategy Performance or your trading room or what? So when I showed you the results page, that was from what we call the trade tracker. So that was literally from tracking the trades, using the strategies and the education that we provide week in and week out. So everybody sees that. Everybody sees the systems. A couple times a week you also see us do that. In addition, you see me trade live as well. I record those on a regular basis. So it's where it comes from. The mechanical results that I showed you, when we teach the major, we always give you also the 100% mechanical results because we want you to know what those are, and then our objective is you beat these results. It's part of the way that we teach. We're like, here's mechanical, you need to beat those. If you don't beat those, you're not putting to use the education that we're teaching you. So that's kind of all part of how we do things, Larry. Good question. Oh, and no 24-hour trading days. I mean, absolutely not, ever. I'm not showing you. Remember when I showed you crude oil? I could have marked up those 2 additional winners and said, look, winner, winner, winner. It was on the chart. I told you one winner, and I said, I didn't take that. I didn't take that because this is about being honest with you. This is not about saying, oh, I knew that we should take the 2 additional winners. But that's not our rule because a lot of other days those next 2 trades may not work. So any results we give you are based upon power of quitting, almost always 1, in the market on day trading 2 hours or less typically, and I'd love it if it was 15 minutes. It is on some days. If it's swing trading, it's not trying to trade it 24 hours a day. So just so you know, it's not trying to look at the best of all possible outcomes. It's how the plans are written, and that's it. I'm going to go on to some more questions here. Again, I'm looking for ones that it looks like Kevin hadn't replied to. What about MetaTrader 4 for Forex from Daniel? Good question. We are not making PTU compatible for now on MetaTrader 4. You guys know all of our other systems we've always made compatible on MetaTrader 4. Here's the reason. It is not a reliable professional level platform for active trading. It would be fine for swing trading, but so many things go wrong with it on day trading, especially converting charts to range and momentum on the day trade. It freezes up, it locks up. I mean, it's just not reliable enough. And even though I know it would be something that people would want to see us do, I feel if you go on TradeStation and we've given you a free way to do it, or go on NinjaTrader, I know in the end you're going to be so much more happy with what you're doing. In the end, you can trade profitably. I don't just want to go for what's easier for me to sell you, which would be to put it on MetaTrader 4 because that's an easier sale. That's the reason. That's the most honest reason I can tell you is that ultimately I'm going to get happier, and I already have. My Forex people who are on Ninja or TradeStation are happier. A lot of people have switched over. Lauren's differences on PTU versus like SST, completely different methodology, completely different strategy. SST, we absolutely do trade some of the same markets, and other times we trade different markets. So just they're kind of apples to oranges overall, and obviously SST is a system approach, whereas PTU is, yes, system, but then education is the big component, is all the things that we've learned makes the difference from you seeing setups on your chart and those darn results not showing up in your live account. And you know what I'm talking about. That's usually the biggest disconnect for people. They see it on the chart, all kinds of things go wrong, and it never ends up in their account. That is what we're trying to show. We got it on the chart, but everything else that's missing in that connection to your live account is what we really focus on. So that's the main difference, I would say, overall. How much cash do you need to trade from Rob? That really depends upon what you decide to trade. I'm going to tell you for futures, typically $5,000 is about the minimum to start. Yes, you will find futures brokers, plenty of them, that will let you start for $2,500, $3,000, but you're best to start around 5. You know, I can't force you to start with it, but that's what you should start with. And not every market should be traded with that amount, and we'll take you through all that in the training. Forex, you can really start with $1,000. I would, though, say you should start with more if you can, $2,000 to $3,000. You want to be able to trade at least one mini safely, where you're not using crazy leverage. It's really easy to get in trouble on Forex. Options trading, probably about that same 5K. Straight out stocks, ETFs, probably 25K, because you've got to watch the day trading rule. So that's typically where it is. For most people, that's within your range. If you have less than $1,000 starting capital of $2,000, it's probably not right for you at this point. The education would be amazing, but I don't think it's right for you. End of day, daily bars on futures, Luke? No, we're not doing any end of day on futures. All the plans right now are day trading futures, you know, 1 to 2 hours type of thing. A lot of days I'm 30 minutes in and done. We are developing some swing trading plans for futures, but I'm going to be realistic with you. You need big accounts to swing trade futures. Almost all the time, everybody we talk to, once they realize what you need, they determine, you know what, I don't want to have to put in that big of an account. It's going to affect my percentage performance. I'd rather approach it a different way. So at this point, I don't even see when we have day trading, swing trading on futures to even use daily charts. The profile is just not right. Let me see. Christian, I'm correct if I say that your preference of choices goes to TradeStation over Ninja. I'm going to tell you that, again, be very direct with you. I use both. I actually place all my trades through NinjaTrader into my Interactive Brokers account. But I don't use NinjaTrader for charting. I actually use TradeStation. So there you go. I actually use both. You don't need to use both. It's just, I've been trading for a long time. That's how I love to do it. I was probably one of the first NinjaTrader customers ever. It goes back that far. I probably was in the early days of TradeStation, back when you would bring the signal in via the satellite. And then later on it was over the cable, but not cable modem, not internet, the old style cable. So if you were to ask me, I would say if you can establish a TradeStation account, why not get your tuition reimbursed? If you can't, then you know the footing becomes much more equal at that point. Okay, I think we answered the MetaTrader. Are there any afternoon-only trade plans? Yes, Paul. I will tell you again, this is my whole theme here. I want to be honest with you. Morning is better than afternoon. It's just more consistent. However, on the Russell E-mini and the S&P E-mini, we do have afternoon plans. They do work, but they're not going to be as consistent as the morning. Okay, it's just the nature of the markets, but it may be to some degree a little bit of what I'm seeing over the summer. Actually, earlier this year, January through about June, it was really very consistent. It definitely slowed down in July. If you're trading now, you know what I'm talking about. And so far in August, roughly the same. So it can work, but it's not as quick and probably not as high of a win-loss as the morning session. How much time a day do you think it will take for lifestyle trading? David, I really think if you were just swing trading, 30 minutes or less, 20 minutes or less, no problem. If you're going to day trade, you really need to devote a 2-hour window, because all the markets, some are 90 minutes, some are 2 hours. I say a 2-hour window. Most days you won't spend 2 hours. To give you an example, on a fairly slow-moving day today, I'm trying to remember on my trades, I had a silver trade. Actually, that one took about an hour overall. I had a DAX futures. That was about 45 minutes. My crude oil trade, I had 2 trades, probably a touch over an hour. And the Russell E-mini trade was probably the shortest. I think it was about 20 minutes. And that's not that unusual. I had a trade last week that I recorded. I didn't know it was going to happen. That was 7 seconds. It was $1,400 in 7 seconds. Again, I mean, I'm not going to play that up too much because it doesn't happen hardly ever, but it can happen. So if you can devote a 2-hour window, I would bet you'd probably average about an hour a day to day trading. So that would be, but you have to be able to go a little longer if the market's slow. Trading account questions, we did answer that. So Rob, hopefully I got you taken care of there. No automation. I showed you some automation. I hate automation as far as for people to use it. It's a crutch. A lot of things end up becoming problems in automation. I can go off for 30 minutes on it. To this day, I still don't know anybody who's consistently made money using automation and letting it run 100% mechanical. I'm not talking with our stuff. I'm talking everything out there. I've seen stuff work for a while and then fall apart. because you can't program certain things. You cannot program things like chart level adjustments that we teach you. Key level you can to a degree. You may not know what key level is, but it actually can be programmed. We have programmed it. But chart level is almost impossible to program. It's really difficult with times of day, power of quitting, art of trading. There's just things that don't go into it. And then what happens is you get disconnects, the broker link disconnect. I mean, all kinds of things happen in automation that don't happen when you're proactively involved. So again, I'm not against it forevermore, but until it gets to the point where I feel I would trust it, I can't sell it to you. Again, I know it's the easiest thing to sell. I know if I sold that to you, it would be like, for a lot of people, no-brainers, but I can't in good conscience sell you something that I won't even use. So I don't use EAs. I don't use ELDs in TradeStation. I've tried. Too many things go wrong. Skip, you're talking about a different refund. I don't know. I mean, I don't know that company really or what their whole thing is. So all I can say is you'll see the trade tracker. You'll see the results. It should be consistently profitable. You know, we're not looking for people to buy and return. So I can tell you that right now, that's not how I structured it. But I did structure it to where you'll see the trades each week. You'll see the same ones on the chart. You'll see the results. If it just doesn't add up and you decide you want to return, I think a lot of people, even if I missed it, let's say it was instead of 500 pips, I got 427. I don't think you should return it. I mean, why would you want to do that? You have, you know, this great tool. But we don't have all kinds of crazy criteria and weird twists and turns or anything like that. But we do say it is based upon the plans, based upon the trade tracker. It'll meet those results. If you personally mess it up, I can't be responsible for that. That's the only thing that I cannot do in the guarantee. Let me see what else we have. Swing trading from PTU, not the same as Keltner Bells. Yeah, I mean, again, it's another apples and oranges. I mean, they're just completely different approaches, as you probably saw on the chart. No, you know, there's just, I almost can't even, you know, talk about the differences because they don't try to do the same thing. We have a lot of people in PTU who also have KB, Keltner Bells. There's no reason in the world you can't trade them together. You're going to learn a lot of things in the university that I think might actually help you in Keltner Bells. And interestingly, some of the things we've taught in Keltner Bells very much applies on the PTU side. Day trade plans mostly start 9:30 to 10 New York. Not necessarily. Like the silver can start as early as 8 in the morning, New York. The DAX, no problem, 8 in the morning. Crude oil, 9. You know, the stock index is about 10. Some of the plans, like in the agriculturals, I think the wheat is more like 10:30, a little bit later, 11. You know, if you're a European session, New York time, 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, that's New York time. Of course, for your time of the world or somebody else's, that might be business hours. So there's definitely some variance on start times. And trade track. Well, Larry actually kind of gave you guys a lot of the overall summation of the results. So on the screen, if you kind of remember, I can bring it back up real quick. Most of that came from trade track. I'll just put it back up on the screen just so you know. Got to hit the button a bunch of times to get to that slide, but we'll get there. Here, hold on. It may not be updating on your screen, but it's updating on mine. So you'll see it here in a second. So most of this came from trade track. So especially anything 6-1 or forward. Anything that was a little bit before that was a combination of trade track and the trades that came prior. So that'll give you an idea. It's not all the plans that we follow. There's other markets that are there, and there's other plans. Obviously, there's some limitation to even my bandwidth of everything that I can trade. I don't trade every plan live. It's impossible. I have my favorites, just like you'll have your favorites too. So I think I don't, Kevin, I'm not sure if you're on a mic or not, but are there any questions that?
I think the only other one, Mark, that may have gone unanswered, a couple people were just asking if you could maybe go over the guarantee one more time.
Sure. Okay. Basically what we're saying is the Russell Mini and the crude oil, we've got trading plans for both over 90 days after the major that you're going to see at least twice. So if it's $39.95 times 2, $8,000 in potential profit in those. The only thing I'm saying is, like I said, if you come back and say, oh, you know, I didn't make the 8,000, you know, I made 4,200, or you know, I messed everything up, but you know, I didn't get that result. You know, then that's a case where I can't, as you can imagine, be responsible if you don't follow the systems. They really are truly crystal clear on the charts. So my promise to you is that the methods work. That's the backup that I'm giving you. You know, it's really risky to do this typically But like I say, if you're a buy and returner, don't buy this. Don't waste your time with us and vice versa, because we pour our heart and soul into this. So I am looking for people who want to do this for a career or for a real second income consistently. So, but at the same time, I get that you want to know that, hey, these systems, these trade plans keep working. I'm willing to risk it. I'm willing to say that I, can't predict what's going to happen in the next 90 days, but I kind of don't care because I know the methodologies are going to work. So anyway, that's the answer there. Bring the enrollment back up for you guys, and the phone number and the chat in case anybody needs that. Let me see if any other questions came in. I don't think so. So Kevin, it sounds like we've kind of hit on everything. A few reminders here. One, question unanswered, please email us. I mean, I have a team here. We're more than happy to answer additional questions. If you want to talk to somebody more in detail, email us, call us, go to the website, get on the chat. This is not the type of, I know some of you bought systems where, the UPS guy shows up and it's a thud on the doorstep and you're excited and then that's it. You never hear from them again. They give you the system and you can't replicate it. This is truly interactive, truly ongoing. Like I mentioned, with the this owners club here, I mean, this is updated literally every day. I'm going to click the dashboard here just to show you here live. Hopefully it'll refresh. And you can see just what's gone up here, just recently. We have, the performance recap on stock and ETFs, the next training session, the new hyperactive trading, me live in the markets, actually literally yesterday, trade plan update August 7th, Forex. I mean, it's just all here constantly being active and interactive. So I really want you guys to feel that and know that when you join, that this is the complete thing and the real deal. I mean, this is the best thing that we've ever been able to come up with in really my 17 years of doing this. Andrew says, I don't have capital to go now with this, though would love to. Will you continue to offer the amazing training in the future? Yes, Andrew, I don't know when the next class undergrad's going to be. It may be October. I'm not sure we're going to do anything in September or not. But it's not the last time ever. The only other things I can't promise you is we really need to have an ongoing monthly for the Owners Club, and we need to have a license fee at some point in order to, this is a business and it's ongoing development and support. So right now we don't have it, which is good for people that came in the first two, and for those of you who enrolled today, hey, lucky you, we don't have it, and we always grandfather people. I'm not going to go and add one in later. But anyways, that's the only thing that might be different, but I'm not putting a gun to anybody's head. If it's not right for you at this time, we've been doing this for 17 years. We're not going anywhere. Christian says, my dashboard looks differently than yours. Yeah, Christian, it depends. I was showing one that was like probably tagged for Forex and stock. If you're in the futures major, you're going to see everything related to futures. So I'm not sure, Christian, which one you're in, but that's why. You should see all the content, though, tied to your major. And if you've done more than one major, you should see all the content tied to both of your majors, or three of them. Yeah, I'm Christian, you registered last Sunday. Right, yeah, okay, the reason for that is if you haven't gone to the undergrad yet on the 21st, you really just had prerequisites, and we do all the undergrad tabs will show up when the live class happens. So you're right, in your case, because you've already enrolled, you don't see everything because we don't want to confuse you. If I throw everything out to you right now and you've yet to even go through the undergrad, you're going to be scratching your head. You go through the undergrad, it's all going to make sense to you. So that's why we do that. Cool. Glad that makes sense. Thanks, Christian. Good question. Sorry about that. Does it cost additional money for more majors? Yes, it's $9.97 to add a second major or a third major. You do not have to do that initially. I tell most people don't do it the first go around. We teach the majors on a regular basis. We definitely have some people who have done it. They do futures and they really badly want that options training because it's so good. But it's totally up to you. You don't have to do it. That's for sure. All right, if there's anything we haven't answered, I missed a question, you need something, you need help from us, we didn't get you something you need, please, you got all the contact information there. I didn't mean to skip it. I apologize if I did. I think we covered really everything in a good amount of time. Stocks, futures, Forex, options, strategies, education. So good call overall. Do we have a schedule on the major start after the 21st? I think September 6th, I thought I remember seeing. So it's typically 2 weeks after is when we do that. All right, I'm going to let everybody roll. Appreciate it. Have a great rest of the day. Looking forward to working with you guys, those of you who have enrolled so far. If we have some questions we need to answer, let us know. And well, I'm done trading on the day, but I'll be back in on the markets tomorrow. We'll keep it going. Take care, everyone. Thanks, Kevin, for your help with the questions.